Hello guys, this is Avishkar Govardhane. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, I would like to tell you that I am an Indian student. I applied for the Duolingo English test on 31st May and I was able to secure 140 marks in the exam. I consider it a relatively good score considering the fact that I hadn't applied for any private tutor or maybe a different course. I was on my own. I did complete some courses of Teacher Luke from the Udemy, and also I thoroughly studied his videos. So in this video I am going to share some tips, 10 tips to score better in the Duolingo English test, probably as good as 140 or even 145. I hope these tips help you. My first tip is never guess. When the rounds are of vocabulary, that is the read and select and listen and select type, never guess the words if you haven't heard it ever in your life. There are some words which sound too good to be true, you feel that they might exist, but if you haven't ever heard them, you can't recall them, then don't please select them. Just trust your knowledge and avoid those words. My second tip is for the production sub-score, and that is speak, write as much as you can. Speaking as much as you can helps into the production sub-score a lot. I had, as far as I recall, I had scored 125 on my production sub-score, which is above 120, and it was all due to the fact that I spoke the whole duration. And also I wrote for a long time. I wrote nearly 115 words for the writing 50 words task. So try to write as much as you can and speak as much as you can, because if your grammar is accurate, then you will frame good sentences. It doesn't matter, your subject knowledge doesn't matter on that topic, how much your knowledge is on that particular topic, it doesn't matter. You should have vocabulary diversity, that is, you should use diverse words. You shouldn't use the same word again and again. You should use more high words, sad is, if you use the word sad, it is too basic and too of high frequency. Maybe you should use the word upset. So that's how it is, that's how the scores are tested. My third tip is for the listen and write question task. I'm talking about the task in where you have to listen to an audio clip and write the words out. I would suggest you to just focus on the keywords. You can make a grammatically correct sentence, right? But the keywords are the most important. You are tested in that task for fluency, punctuation, pronunciation, and also completion, like how many words you have used. Have you used all the words? So focus on the keywords and then make a meaningful statement. Always remember that it will be a meaningful statement. So when you focus on the keywords, try to combine them together and make a useful, meaningful statement. My fourth tip is for the read and complete question type. You need to focus on reading more and more. Read as much as you can. For this particular question type, let me check, your comprehension is tested. So please focus on reading as much as you can. Use the question words a lot. If the first letter is H and there are two more letters, it most probably is how, not her or his, most probably. It obviously depends on the context, but focus on learning and using keywords, question words, also words denoting opinions, colors, pronouns, prepositions. Focus on them. Read them as much as you can, and also try using the general words in sentences so that you can easily recall while you are on that question task. My fifth tip is actually a do not tip, what you shouldn't do. And I would like to tell you that please do not run after the vocabulary test as if that don't try to improve your vocabulary rigidly or in a rote learning way. Please practice on vocabulary.com. It uses words in different sentences, it gives the passage, and that is why you get familiar with it. You can't just write down the word, its meaning, use it in the sentence, and in that rigid way. You cannot learn English words, at least in that way. And also, check. As I said, if try to build your general vocabulary. Don't try to learn all of the words, or don't try to increase your vocabulary too much, because you might think that, oh, even that can be a word, oh, even this might be a word. No, just focus on reading more, so that you get easily acquainted with the language that English is. You can easily recognize which words sound fake and are not real, and that's why you don't select them. My next tip is for the write about the photo, and it is that at least write 3 sentences. In 1 minute you can write 3 sentences, not easily, but with management of proper time you can write them. And if you practice on Hedvig, like Hedvig Education website, it has lots of tasks for this particular write about the photo type. So my tip is to first maybe practice on that website, and also write at least 3 sentences, speculate what might be happening, maybe talk about the weather, talk about the dress, what they are wearing, and in general, like you can just find photos on Google and try to describe them. It helps a lot. Try to describe in at least 3 sentences. And when I was giving the test, the write about the photo task had appeared 3 consecutive times, 3 times in a row. So it might be possible with you too. Just remember that. For the speak about the photo, I would like to tell that it is slightly difficult. Speaking about the photo is slightly difficult, because you are given 90 seconds to talk about the photo, minimum 30 seconds to talk. But I personally found it very difficult to talk for a long duration for that particular photo. So please practice it, and like naturally when you practice that task, you are able to talk more about the photo, and it helps a lot for the production sub score. So my tip is to practice for especially for the speak about the photo, since once you get acquainted, like once you speak about like at least 10 to 20 photos, you feel confident that yeah, I can speak about any photo now for a long duration. For the read then speak, that is in the task you are given, like you are told to speak at least for 30 seconds for a number of questions, 3 or 4. For that question, I would like to tell that focus on the questions itself. Focus on answering each and every question, and you can switch to another question simply by telling that on to the next question, or answering the second question on to the last question. The next question, answering the next question, like you get it right. You can switch easily like that. I had done personally on my test like that, and it helped my score a lot. So main tip is that make sure you answer each and every question of the task. Make sure you talk for at least 2 to 3 sentences about each question. And also, this question is relatively easy. You can talk about each question for at least 1 minute. You should try to do that. For the listen then speak, that is, if you are not familiar with it, you are given an audio clip. You listen to it and answer the question. You can replay it 3 times, but once you click on the answer the question button, you cannot replay it again. So please make sure that you listen the question very well. And also, top tip, on the Duolingo English test group of Teacher Luke, I had seen that one student was disqualified for answering the question in a different way, or actually not even answering the questions. Probably the question was about agriculture and business centers, and he was talking about anything else. So please don't do that. Stick to the topic. The AI intelligence, that AI testing system recognizes what you are talking about, and you might be disqualified for it. So just because you are meant to talk about the question doesn't mean you can talk about anything. Stick to the question, make sure the priority is that your test is made valid. You are given a certificate. That is the priority. Don't do anything just for the score. Make sure you stick to the question. Make sure you read a lot about certain topics like entertainment, fitness, health and fitness, economy, schools, global issues like environmental issues, so that you can form opinion. It is obviously harder to have an opinion if you haven't read about it at all. So please read. Another tip is for the read and complete type. That is filling the letters, the words. I would like to tell you that you are given 3 minutes for it, which are a lot. 3 minutes are a lot for the task. So please make sure that you relax a bit during the task. After you answer each and every word of the task, just take a deep breath, relax, because this is a very high-paced, fast-paced test. You are on to the next question immediately after you click next. So for this task especially, 3 minutes are a lot, and try to complete each and every word. Try to guess. Yeah, in this task you can guess. Maybe the word you are filling in might not sound appropriate, but please do that. But don't leave it empty. You won't be penalized for wrong answer, but you will lose marks if you don't even try to complete the word. And that's the tip. Please relax during this question type. You have ample amount of time for this, so relax and make sure you are calm for the next question. Next tip is a bonus tip, top tip, that don't focus on your accent. Your accent doesn't matter, how you speak doesn't matter, but you should have the basic knowledge. For example, we pronounce psychology, the word psychology, as psychology. It doesn't. It has the letter P in it at the beginning, but we do not pronounce it. We pronounce the letter R, the word R, that is H-O-U-R, spelled as H-O-U-R, as R. We do not pronounce the word H. These are the rules that you should just know, and you shouldn't pronounce them like har or P psychology. You get it, right? Your accent doesn't matter, but you should know which letters are silent in the words that you yourself are speaking. That's it. That's what matters the most.